My country people, when I call gather here, Tori don't war, Tori don't war, Tori don't scatter for everywhere, not be here. Hey, before I go into the main news today, make I first talk about your first throw away Emefiele on first. From the start of the gist, for those of now who don't know the gist from the beginning to the end, I want to analyze the small gist given now. They say initially when the DSS bring Emefiele call, they say if you see the big Bible he carry, some people say na King James version, some say na NVI, some say na new generational version. We don't know the truth with the inside, but the fact that we say the guy bring Bible call court. So after that, I don't bolo for the court can't give their judgment. Say they say the ammunition they see for your hand. Hey, they say if you see that ammunition there, I don't have see that time when white people enter Nigeria those days in the 1880 something. All those kind gone. Now they tender as evidence. Say now be waiting everything. Who do Nigeria? I go punish that person. They say that Emefiele carry. That was what they tender as an evidence. Say is in possession of ammunition. The ammunition, me they think say that they want bring popper. No, they say sorry now when they bring you come and go popper like you pop. Me go this not getting they want bring come and they could go bring. Hey, chai. Must see all those gold they put for museum. This is those kind when they go bring come out. Oh God. Who do us? As a Emefiele get money rich. Who do us? Now call look the whole thing. They come to say, guy, in fact, we will free you. Now so they come to grant Emefiele bail on liberal terms. That word liberal terms, let me not understand. Because me know say they give him the bail based on 20 million naira for bail. Bail will be free. Hey, they give him bail based on 20 million naira, make it come pay with it. But the fact now be say the DSS, as they see give Emefiele bail, make he, make he come out, make he be free man, one kind. The way DSS in mapa, they say they not come out, they stand there Greek, but they marks up their face. They marks, they strong their face, they come to say like they not go agree. Now this one I call cause fights between the officials of the Nigerian Correctional Service, NCS, and the DSS, which is the operative of the Department of the State Service. They can't begin to fear. They say if you see fight, Igbos, Igbas, Igbo. Hey, you want me? You didn't have. Not be smart to you. To the extent one of the warder or the prisoner in charge or the person will be say they escort Emefiele up and down. For they say the man called they shook his head. That's so they all carry the guy. You know what fear? The next thing they say the guy go laugh for. He go laugh for Asaba. They say we still fight with Apple there. Don't be here. Don't be after they talk and so, my people. That's what the story come be like say call end though. That's what they come to carry Emefiele go. Hey. See, this old thing, people don't begin to come and say this one pass the SSO. This one pass the NCS. They say this one a teeny bone inside this matter. Me the years say he and Emefiele get beef, unsettled one, strong one, and the one of the thing will make Tinubu come as president. My people, no say if I drop one video where I talk say Olusegun come talk say the reason where these people they enter government if they open man tell you. Not me talk am now Obasanjo na talk am. He said the reason why these people are coming to government, if you ask them, okay, what is the reason you want to be a president? He said they open man tell you, say you go wrong. Say na emptiness. Because I get unsettled score with you, because of that I want to be president, might they punish you. Because this is just evidence of hatred. This is punishment. Nobody know what Emefiele do. We be say he talk say he want be president to show all of the 999999. Make they show them, make it show them say man, he passed them. Because I mean they think I'm so okay. What Emefiele can't do Jagaban? What Emefiele do Jagaban to this extent? We be say he go want punish him like this. So this one really show waiting Obasanjo talk. So the reason why these people they come into government is just empty. They don't get any reason. Now say they get beef with somebody and they won't come challenge the person or won't come punish the person. No, that's in there. Because since when they put this Jagaban, the only two they see now revenge, nothing else. Now revenge now would they see. My people, make I move, come on for that news, small. So come enter the next news. And this one I be waiting Inec Obi talk about the something where they hold together with our Inec chairman. The woman come talk say, see, that Inec chairman, now you don't think they do. He said, now you don't think where they in mind they do. He said everything was planned and organized. They don't really organize everything. He said she just surprised from nowhere. This man just begin to take things into his hand. He said they were all surprised that the man was not updating them in terms of some certain things. Say this Inec chairman, there are things she be say, man, she assessed if he say, man, he not clear for ground at all. He said because he really showed to us, say, man, democracy for Nigeria, I know we don't get, my people, me, I'm not thinking now. Even this Emefiele on show everybody. Say the DSS not even obey the courts. They don't even do anything. They want they parade, they scare people with their max face. You understand me? See, one bullet pull, they don't gun down though. Because they feel say maybe as a max, they carry they run up and down like far away, he lost. They just say they don't arrive. See, Nemesis, I keep saying it will catch up on all of them one by one till their generation. This news, and plenty other news. Now I bring come today. In fact, I'm not going to forget of Shomole. Oh no. Say, if you see argument, they say Shomole argue with Channel TV. They say na small thing I remain or one blow she won't come up for sit. So she will quick ID. I don't know what you also put here on that desk. The guy run. Hey God, this government, you understand where they run and go. People are annoyance. Or somebody begin to hey, whether Jagaban Tinubu, whether a magician, how can he work under 24 hours? How can he do this under 24 hours? Agreement during the time of their when they campaign. Say, waiting be the agreement wait them get with Nigerians. Oshomole na they talk so. Not be here. He no will let you talk. My people, this one and plenty news now will bring come on the table. Mukuna sit down, Mukuna watch this video from the beginning to the end. This one a Bod TV board area. I salo food chest. Hey, that's too much. I've done more. Hey God. I also thank you for my days with this on a Bod TV board. Baby, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Bye.
So that's the vehicle of the Nigerian Correctional Service and the vehicle of the DSS side by side. It remains to be seen who will actually take him away from the courts to their custody. Drama, Promax, loading. This man.
Today, Emefiele has had his day in court. He was arraigned today, this morning, and he has been granted bail graciously by his lordship. They arraigned him on a 2-count charge, very ridiculous charge, bordering on illegal possession of firearms. Gentlemen of the press, if you know the firearm that we are talking about, it is the kind of gun that the likes of Christopher Columbus and Mungo Park used during their days. This is the kind of gun that the SSS exhibited in their proof of evidence. This is how low that organization has turned itself to be. Ladies and gentlemen, but the good news is that Godwin Emefiele has been granted bail by the court on very liberal terms. Very liberal terms, and as we speak today, he's about to perfect the bail conditions. But we are hearing from the grapevine, and this is the reason why we have come to address you, members of the press, because we know what you stand for. The DSS, in fact, let me also add that the court gave an order again to say that Emefiele should be remanded pending when he perfects his bail, should be remanded in the prison, correctional center. But this one would have expected that, having had that order of court, the DSS would vacate this place with immediate effect. But as you can see behind me, they are there, they are hooded. I do not know why they will be hooded to intimidate Nigerians. We refuse to be intimidated. Gentlemen of the press, this is why you are here. Ours is to talk. Our voices can no longer be the low cry in the wilderness. There comes a time in life when silence is no longer golden.
They are giving you presidential treatment.
Stop this thing you are doing. What is the problem now?
An old video has resurfaced online showing a group of civil rights activists led by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Emefiele, protesting over increase in the pump price of petrol back in 2012 when former President Goodluck Jonathan removed fuel subsidy and the fuel price went up from 65 naira per litre to 141 naira per litre.
Whether they remove the subsidy or not, we will still be in problem. If they remove subsidy, they will share the money. They have already shared it before collecting it. They say over 400 billion will go to Jonathan's government. Over 400 billion will go to state government. Over 200 billion will go to local government. They have already spent the money before they earn it. They are just fooling Colade to come and supervise an empty collection.
Governor of the Central Bank, Sanusi, came to Lagos and said, if you don't remove fuel subsidy, Nigeria will collapse. This country is not going to collapse. Those who are going to collapse are those who are cheating the Nigerian people.
When my father was fighting, I was 13 years old. I am 50 in 6 months. My son is 16. We still have no electricity. We still have no health care. People are poor. People are dying because of 10,000 naira in this country.
Well, this happened on the 9th of January 2012. The same struggle, the same thing Femi just said on that video is what's happening now. Well, in the meantime, the senator representing Edo North, Adams Oshomole, on Tuesday said that Nigerians who voted for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knew that they were not electing a magician and that the APC did not promise a magical solution to the problems facing the country.
My question initially is the worry of those who impose their trust in the Tinubu ticket, who thought that when Tinubu gets into
they know
office,
they were not electing a magician.
you did not tell them you are not.
No.
You are not
They
going
know
to do
they are not
magic.
elected magicians.
Your party
and nobody
preached a
promised
renewed agenda.
Nobody promised
Governor
magical
Oshomole,
solution.
Yeah, your party said you have renewed hope. Let me give you an example of things that have
you don't
happened.
need to give me an example.
I'll give you an example of
I know what we
things
promised
that are happening.
more than you who was reporting it.
I am on the
Whatever
ground.
you reported was we were the source.
Yeah, but the fact remains that
we did not promise 24-hour solution.
You remember?
We did not promise miracles.
Schools.
We did not promise overnight solution. But nobody said
in
this
56
will be done.
days.
And you show me if you have any document that says in 48 hours this will be done. In 14 days this will be done. In 21 days, this will be done.
Are you saying that the hopes and the expectations of Nigerians...
I think you are the one who have the illusion that once a promise is made, automatically once you get into office, either spiritually or by miracles, solutions emerge.
The fact we are...
What Nigeria need is what President Tinubu has demonstrated.
President Tinubu promised renewed hope.
You see, a couple of things. Let me tackle his first, then dial back.
Yes.
You see why we keep saying manifestos matter?
Absolutely.
We campaign in poetry and govern in prose. Now they have seen how hard it is for governance. They are trying to backtrack. But please, somebody should tell Mr. Oshomole that we have receipts. We have the manifesto. It was over 80-page document. Have you noticed so?
Yes.
How he promised economic growth of 12% and he dialed it back. How he promised agricultural bonds, all the things he promised and he said, we have all the recordings. And no matter how much he tries to, move away from it, we'll ask them the question. That's what governance is about. We want him to do well. We want Nigeria to do well.
Yes.
But Nigeria will only do well with scrutiny, Oji. So please, when politicians start to change mouth, don't listen to them. They promise renewed hope. Although people are facing renewed shege now, but we know life could be a whole lot better if they do what is needful for the people. President Tinubu himself said, let the poor breathe. Don't suffocate them. But he's suffocating them now with all of this, bad implementation of policies. They need to go back to the drawing board. Let me now go back to the next, video you show. Oji, there's another video I want you to show. Okay. Maybe tomorrow you get the video and show
Send it to me.
In that video, Prince Uduka Obaegbana was the moderator. Before this, there was a subsidy debate. And Prince Uduka Obaegbana championed that subsidy debate where Labour and all the stakeholders came to debate. And I remember Emir Sanusi Lamido was CBN governor then and was giving us the empirical numbers. But people like Mr. Oshomole then were making arguments based on, when you look at it, the arguments and the other people against were making arguments all sorts based on the fact that there was political slant for them and they wanted to enjoy something politically. So you can now see many years down the line, we have gone back to where we are. I was saying this morning, Nigeria is almost a cycle. The best time to have put out that something was 2012. And for everybody now that they cannot talk because of their hypocrisy, at least you heard in that speech that Pastor Tunde Bakare was saying they are just there to confuse Christopher Kolade. Kolade is Christopher Kolade. When Goodluck Jonathan announced subsidy removal, he put a plan forward. He brought about Shopee. Christopher Kolade was the leader of Shopee. From day one, as he announced he had a plan. This one's announced subsidy gone, no plan. Just put the plan is to truncate people's life and put them in untold disaster. So you can see that what goes around comes around. You can see all of them. I think the question is, where are all of them today? All of them that went to Ojota. Where are all of them today? And guess what? For the man, Goodluck Jonathan, is peace be upon that man. Blessings be upon that man. That protest held without any loss of life, except for one incident where an overzealous police officer killed Demola on Yaya Baton. That was the only incident. Military men were there. They shut down the country for 2 weeks. He never used military to chase or shoot any people to death. We are talking about another incident that happened. How people went to protest and it was scuttled. And they used all sorts to attack them. And people were here, they want to have mass burial of 103 bodies. That protest went for over 2 weeks, Dr. Abati. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it was.
But no life was, the military did not open fire on anybody in Ojota, and they grounded this country for 2 weeks. You see, life is about good leadership. If you see a good leader, I have not met President Goodluck Jonathan, but please, if you're watching this, sir, your word speaks for you. Your act is speaking for you, and it's vindicating you today.
Yeah,
and let's learn to tell the truth.
That's really what we need.
I have
here,
not met President Goodluck. I don't know him, but I'm saying this to him to honor him today.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we need here, Ayo. I mean, Nigerians are suffering. It's a big problem. We're talking about people protesting in Benin. I told you about the ones in Lagos. Now, we took a video last week, Trekathon.
Yes.
Another video has come up again. Nigerians have been, embracing several ingenious measures to survive the hard times resulting from the increase in fuel prices across the country. Many were seen trekking over the weekend, again, in the Ikeja local government area of Lagos State.
Renew hope! All the Lagosians. This is what we are currently going through in Nigeria. Especially in Lagos. Especially in Ikeja. You go trek, I mean you go fly. No, when I get this, whether to fly, I mean to waka. Renew hope. Like the renew. I want to be president. For you. For you. By force.
A renewed hope. The good thing is that Ayo, the chairman of Ojodu local government area of Lagos State, Honorable Segun Odumbaku, last weekend donated buses to ease off movement of residents. They are the buses and commuters as part of the palliative measures of his administration to cushion the effects of the subsidy removal. I mean, it's going down also to the local governments, and I think this is great.
Yes, so many stories to discuss this morning, but just to take on from where Rufai stopped in terms of President Goodluck Jonathan, to be honest, I'm actually quite sad that we're looking back, thinking the past is better. The reason I'm saying that is because when the President Goodluck Jonathan administration was voted out, and people were looking for a better, perhaps more hopeful administration, was because of the insecurity and how unfortunately it wasn't largely well handled under his administration. So we'd look forward to having a better government, and that was what perhaps the APC had offered. 8 years down the line and another APC government in power, it looks like people are now looking back and saying, oh my goodness, what did we do? That's what, some feelings in some quarters. And that's quite sad because we're hopeful that things should get better as opposed to getting worse. Now, in terms of the first story with in Edo State, with regards to the protests, the danger with that, OG, like you mentioned on the streets of Lagos, we're not going to resort to just protests around the country.
Yes.
What's going to happen if it's replicated in other cities, in other states, because everyone is feeling the pinch of this fuel subsidy removal? And it also shows that the interventions of the state government are not enough. The Edo State governor had announced a 10,000 naira increase in minimum wage to 40,000 naira, and then some days of work. And yet, people are still out protesting. It means that despite the fact that he's making an effort, it's not anywhere close to providing relief for the people. It means that the government has their work cut out for them. People are not happy. With regards to the Honorable Odumbakin of Ojodu, if you read through his antecedents and perhaps his campaign promises, and that's why Rufai mentioned a campaign, your manifesto is very important. When he was campaigning for this position, he had talked about Ojodu as a transportation hub and how he was going to leverage that. Little wonder, in response to that and in fulfillment of what he had said to the people, he's providing transport, and this transport is going to be free of charge to the people of Ojodu. Many people who know the Ojodu axis know that's a major hub in terms of the in-road and out-road from Lagos-Ibadan Expressway into Lagos State, from states like Ogun State and some parts of the Southwest and other parts. Very critical. This is not a state governor. This is not, and we're still asking what the governor is still planning to do here in the state. I think it's kudos to him, and we must showcase those who have taken an action in this regard.
Well said, Ayo. Dr. Bati.
Okay, on this program, before now, I asked the question, where is the Ojota crowd?
Yes.
I asked the question, all the people who said the gathering at Ojota, where they were taking jollof rice and wearing designer T-shirts because of a fuel subsidy increase in 2012. I asked, where are they? Some of them are now of blessed memory, but Femi Kuti is alive.
Yes.
What has he said about the current situation? I've not seen any record anywhere of what he has said. Yes, Mr. Femi Falana has been very critical of government policies, but where is Pastor Tunde Bakare? Okay, he has just said decided to just stay aloof. The whole point here is about consistency.
Yes.
If in 2012 we are not inciting anybody, you spoke up on behalf of the people, and the situation is worse now in 2023, what are you saying? Just put something on record, because this is the contradiction about civil society protests and participation. Number two, the protests that you have seen in Edo State, that you have seen in Lagos, that you have seen in other parts of Nigeria. People should note that the Trade Union Congress has now given the federal government of Nigeria an ultimatum.
Yes.
That if by August 19, government does not meet all its promises, after all, they said government told them 6 weeks. Within 6 weeks, the palliatives will roll out, things will happen. Then there will be crisis. So what we're seeing now may be signs of what is to come. And if those are signs, what is to come may not look very attractive. And that's why I said the protest is a wake-up call for government.
Yes.
Everybody talks about Emefiele, that President Tinubu said Emefiele during the campaigns. They have forgotten that he also told us, Elofo Kambale. Elofo Kambale was one of the things that he was using as a campaign slogan. Elofo Kambale, he was saying that in the context that people should have confidence that he will truly bring hope. So, but now our hearts are in our mouths.
Absolutely.
All of us are very nervous, and that is why you see those people trekathon, and they are saying, I thought they promised us hope. As for Comrade Oshomole, okay, he's right. It is true that nobody said there will be magic, because we don't expect the people in government to be shamanists. Mm-hmm. This is not about voodoo. We don't want a voodoo governance process. But it's becoming typical with APC. In 2015, some of them came forward and said, if the Buhari government did not perform, we should stone them. Then when the government did not perform, they said, no, the stone was meant as a metaphor. Nobody should stone them. And now we are being told, no magic. Okay, you promised us hope. The people are asking for hope.
Absolutely.
Restore the hope.
Absolutely.
Nobody is asking for magic.
Absolutely. Well.
And, after speaking, I addressed because that was like valedictory, I was addressing the team because of what we have been through in the 2023 general election, the post-elections, before the election, 2 years to the election, everybody worked so hard, including the media. You were all there working from, all the other off-cycle elections that led us to believe and even trust in the technology that came up later. And so when I asked the Inec chairman, Inec was actually there. Inec was there. Festus was there full time, throughout that meeting and watched the election. In fact, he was part of those, who controlled the election for the Situation Room. And so it wasn't that I said that behind. If you were the one, having gone through the election, having committed yourself step by step, we worked with Inec tirelessly. We committed to Inec. We believed in Inec. I think that is one time that you have civil society organizations really working and not disagreeing, they're hitting each other, but rather believing because of our common goal. Because all we are working towards is for a better Nigeria. For me, I'm the country director of ActionAid. We work on poverty eradication. How else are you able to change governance? You are looking at issues at a time when you have about 140 million Nigerians living in multidimensional poverty. And so, election is one of the hopes for the people. Because we are looking at the credibility of leaders who are coming in, we are asking our team to go to the field, to go out there. We are, announcing to civil society, we are announcing to Nigerians, craving their indulgence, despite the fact that they have not been believing in the system. Because of many times in the past, you have snatching of ballot boxes and all of that. And we were happy because we're working with the system now that ballot boxes will not be snatched again. We work tirelessly as civil society organizations to look at the Electoral Act, where it went to the president the 7th time. You were here, were in your studio, watching before the signing, that memorial moment. Mm-hmm. I was in Channel Studio, to watch the signing. And I really praise the courage of the president finally for signing it, though it went to him several times. But there were many obstacles of the reasons why he didn't sign. If you remember, we were monitoring them and saying, look, if you don't sign this now, the election will be delayed. And we went on the street. We were frightened because we knew the setting, the timing for the election. And true to that fact, they delayed it. And that postponed the election for 1 week in terms of the timetable. And so for civil society, for someone to get up, we have the steering committee and even members of the civil society situation room, everybody making their contributions. ActionAid, for example, was looking at the logistics, because logistics had been a major problem. And so we went in with Inec, and we made sure that we don't do anything outside Inec. Inec, is it your problem? Can we work for it? And we go and drum out, proposals. We write proposals to development partners. Can you please help us fund this so that we can close this gap? And we tried. We worked with some staff of Inec tirelessly, and we brought logisticians together. All the SACO, the NACO, the National Association of Road Transport Owners, Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers, maritime, workers, and a host of everybody, that the army, the navy, the police, everybody that controlled anything, lifting any item of, including the CBN, about elections. And so we had a formidable framework that was developed, and then it was signed, which media also followed through, to publicize. And so when you come to that, that's ActionAid. And then you have NDI, different organizations, YAGA, CDD, PLAC, everybody working tirelessly. So all the members of civil society situation room, they come handy with what they can contribute. That's what makes, we are in an individual but the collective, we are a force. And therefore, opening the situation room during elections is for us to collate, to bring all the energies together, concerted, because they say the bigger the broom, the better it sweeps, the African broom. And so that's the distance. So when you wonder the person that made the statement, to say, that is your own opinion. I think Plaque, Clement, the past convener, also made a statement. He said, but we are together, and is speaking our mind. And others are asking, why is Ene not asking the man to leave? Instead of even asking him to apologize. And then you come, are you talking for Inec? And you see the press conference yesterday, you are seeing, people trying to defend Inec. Should I be defending Inec or defending my constituency? I have a constituency, and that's the Nigerian people. That's the vulnerable people, persons with disability, women, girls who are really bearing the burden of poverty, also the burden of the present day. So for someone who says that, you then wonder, you ask him, what is he contributing to the civil society situation room? He's not bringing anything.
So I am a little concerned, and I'm sure that is something that we can explore. You've spoken about the role that ActionAid played in trying to ensure that logistics was smooth, yet logistics was still a major challenge. In fact, one of the problems that Inec experienced, or Nigerians witnessed on the morning of the elections, was that materials did not get to the polling centers in good time. So tell me, or tell the Nigerians, how did the engagement yesterday with Inec go? What were your own expectations from that engagement, and what eventually would you say that you were able to achieve? I mean, by you, I mean CSOs were able to achieve with that engagement.
I think I was in the meeting briefly, so I will speak from the tone of where I wanted to actually see Inec, the officials, to know exactly, to hear them. What are they going to tell the civil society? And once I heard what the chairman said, I said, fine. They were not willing to talk about even the post-election. They want to talk about activities leading to the off-cycle election, which is holding in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi State.
So that was what they wanted to talk about?
That's what they wanted to talk about. But he said briefly, in his introduction, the chairman, at least for one, said there was a cash trap. And we were asking that time, we say, has the central bank, who promised that they will give you enough money to move logistics, because logistics has to move with liquidity. And Inec declared that they had received money, that they had received enough money. But for us, if you have logistics, you know, the cash trap. I didn't even know that Nigerians will go to the polling units because of the cash trap. That the colorization of the naira, you know, they call it a change of naira or whatever, they redesign it. It's not redesigning, they just color the naira. And then they made
the notes are still not available.
Exactly, and then they were not available. And so my point was that, you know, I felt very strongly that Inec was ready for the election. But of course, when they realized what happened during the mock election, you know, which they conducted, there were some things that they realized there. I don't know if we were able to correct that between the time of the mock and also the, so technicians, you know, talked about not being ready, you know, on that side. But if election is starting on Saturday and by Thursday, you have not moved, and they could not move because of the cash trap.
And you knew that? I mean, like, Action Aid was privy to that.
We were privy to, we opened the situation room. We had opened the situation room, and our radars were just going up. You know, the moment we saw, they said, you know, even those who were working in Inec before, they just told us, as at, you know, midday, you know, of Thursday, the central bank had not given them money. Materials had not moved from the central bank. And so the backup, were checking with the regs and all of that. They had not gotten the money. And then moving to Friday, once you don't move on Thursday, you have lost the time. There is almost no way you can catch up. And that is the reason why, you know, what we thought we were going to sort out, the naira, this is something that you don't bear the pain of another. You don't take the hit for another person. You are an agency as Inec. We are not saying that the fault goes to Inec alone. If the central bank doesn't give you the money, you say it out. Tell Nigerians, this is where, so why are you covering somebody? That's what I feel, because that's why I say defend your own constituency and let others defend their own. But they came out to say they have been given the money. We talked to some Greg. He said, talk to Inec chairman, who said they have given us the money. And so for logistics, there is no way that you can move, you know, when the things had not gone to the wards or going to the local government, is not gone to rats, you know, by Friday morning, by afternoon of Friday, so things were still moving.
So there's some things that you were privy to, and you knew that as a result of this is a problem. This is problematic already, and that there was no magic that was going to happen. Materials are going to get late. But I'm interested again. I mean, I'm going to go back. Maybe I asked a two-in-one question to yesterday's meeting. I mean, reports, a number of reports have come out. Civil society have, you know, published their own report. The European Union published their own report. A number of other observer groups have also published their own report, you know, with mixed reactions being received. But from your own engagements yesterday, you have already told us what Inec was hoping to engage on, which is the upcoming elections. But I'm sure, I mean, from what we saw in that report, that civil society wanted to talk about, and they did ask questions about what happened during the 2023 elections. Why was Inec so far short of what it said it was going to do and what it eventually did? So in that regard, would you say that the Inec chairman was forthcoming, or were you able to elicit responses from the leadership of Inec from that meeting?
No, when you start a meeting and somebody tells you, this is the way I want to go, he's the chairman of the commission. I already heard what I needed to hear in terms of, but at least for once, admitted that cash was a problem. You know, that was admitted. And that happened, you know, it's not only Action Aid. All of our members of the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room sent out thousands of logisticians, and my colleagues challenged them yesterday. Why is a report coming out to say civil society organizations did not cover every polling unit? Are we supposed to cover every polling unit? Was media supposed to be in every polling unit? You take an example, we move to one place or the other, you take a sample. And then the accusation came out. He did not, the response was that there were glitches. There were glitches that happened with the IREV, you know, with the, beavers and so on and so forth, but that the case was in court. We wanted, as civil society organizations, we wanted Inec to pronounce more results. Inec is the one that is supposed to be pronouncing results, not the courts. You are given the right to conduct an election and to declare winners. And you make a pronouncement, people challenge you, say go to court. What does that mean? We had differences in terms of, what was in the beavers, and, some results were online, and in some of those polling units, elections were not conducted. So you have reference point. It is INEC. The onus lies on INEC to say, okay, I have this result, but there is no election that went on here. And so the reports that were coming from the field, because what we used to do, the reason why we have walked this far and there wasn't disagreement until, this election, was that while conducting the off-cycle election, while INEC was conducting and we were observing, each time there is any issue anywhere, and we raise the radar, we have numbers to call. We're able to call and we get the responses. We get INEC already, immediate response to the things that we complain. Security is an issue, but we also report, and the reports were being carried out. So it made us to have a lot of trust. And that is a trust. For us, it was like a serious betrayal, because we trusted you. You said you would do this. You didn't do it. And we say, okay, let's explain. And what he said yesterday, though it was going the way, I know that, some of the civil society organizations said it is okay. Some of the reports, civil society organizations, send your report. One of the terms, we have our terms with INEC. If you monitor an election, you submit your result, your report. At the end of the day, hard copy, electronic copy goes to INEC. Do we owe them that? That's a responsibility we feel. And that's between our, those who are funding us as well. We have to give them the report, and you also have to give INEC. And this is the work. And INEC does not challenge. They're talking of review. Yesterday they said they were going to review the elections, but they are asking us, submit your reports. We use your report to review. But I'm happy that many civil society organizations were able to ask questions yesterday and to say, no, we cannot move forward. You need to talk about this. And it's important.
What exactly is responsible? What are you sensing, from members of the civil society community, particularly with the disagreement about the outcome and the assessment of INEC of the 2023 general election?
Thank you very much. The person that had a dissenting voice was Ezenwa. Ezenwa, I don't know where he monitored the election, during the 2023 general election. I think he said he went to Gwagwalada and he went to the FCT or somewhere. But he is just a member of the civil society organization, and his organization did not contribute anything to this year's election. And when he came out to say it is your own opinion, every other, sometimes when the media catches, they caught his own attention, but they did not take other people that responded after he responded. And so he contested even the convenership with me. I don't know if we have any disagreement. I don't speak for INEC. He wanted to talk for INEC, and you see the press conference that they had yesterday again, is that INEC is not at fault. I don't defend INEC. I cannot defend INEC. I'm not employed by INEC, and I will defend my own constituency. And so far, when you are looking at voices of civil society, some people can decide to couch their own languages. I don't couch any language. We have poverty in the land. We need to change our governance system. We need transparency and accountability. There is, corruption that has become a cancer. We are now looking at an election that should have been done in a transparent manner because of the technology we have now and the winners declared, because as civil society, we have no agenda. Our own is do it transparently. Whoever wins, let that person be declared. So I do not understand his own. He needs to even, did he give any report? If he monitored the election, did he give any report to INEC? He didn't. Actioned on his own, did his work, and submitted his own report. Right. And then collectively, at civil society, Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, we had a massive deployment, and we were able to conduct our own elections, our own observation, and then we had the report and we sent it out. You can see Yaga submitted his own report. Though they are in the collective, but they also submitted report.
Right.
You have CDD submitted report. You have plaque submitted. Everybody submit their reports. And so when there is a dissenting voice, you begin to wonder, okay, what is the need for you? Are you to defend Inec, or is Inec to defend itself? Let Inec speak for themselves.
Well, Madam
Why
Obi,
do you become a spokesperson?
It really hurts. It really hurts, really, to see.
I just work directly.
Right. It hurts to see. I mean, they're meant to be dissenting voices anyway, but you'd expect that at least the civil society organizations would present a common front and not make it look like there's even division within, so that the cause that you're trying to champion will be successful. So just to be clear, are you still standing by that demand or that call to have the INEC chairman apologize? Or in fact, you said he should have been asking for a resignation. Do you still stand by that call? Some have said, well, the cases are in court. How about you allow that case or those cases to be exhausted before we now come to a conclusion? But do you still stand by that?
Okay, first I want to say that if you have about 90 civil society organizations and somebody who is not even making any cogent contribution says, I have a dissenting voice, does that now segregate us? For those who want to have their own voices, I want you to know that, I have come a long way in terms of activism, over the years, or decades. And you will always have those who are anti-government. You will also have those who are pro-government or pro some organizations and so on and so forth. So when the voices come, don't take it as even a negative. Bring the voice out. Let's debate. In civil society, we do debate. So if you have a superior argument, bring it out and let's debate. We are evidence-based and we will continue to pull that. In terms of, I'm not the one to even demand. Are Nigerians asking questions to the INEC chairman or the commission itself? They got billions of naira. And what we were asking them yesterday, some of my colleagues have pulled it out. I've called severally that you went into the election with over 173,000 polling units. That's 173,606 polling units. That's for the general election, for the national presidential and the National Assembly election. How many polling units did you hold the election? We asked for audit because each of the polling units is marked by the personnel that has been paid for by the people of Nigeria. Should Nigerians be asking, is it only NLB that will be asking the questions? I think you as media too should be asking that question. Is it me is it from my mouth? You want to hear Professor Mahmoud resign because you are incompetent. He had the capacity, but what happened? Let me say the political class, if they held you down, did you make the Nigerian people know? Or are you going to write your own? You'll be writing your history, you'll be saying, you'll be keeping quiet for other people, you take the heat for other people. Take the heat for politicians, they are not your friends. As a Nigerian, should we stand upright and demand accountability? I demand accountability. I say for every kobo that was taken, it should be committed. Women are dying on the maternity death road. So a guy called me yesterday. He said, I don't have any work. My wife had a baby. In a general hospital, they have asked me to pay 350,000. If not, my wife cannot be released from the hospital. So people are dying on the maternity death road. Women are dying, children are dying, and then we are talking about, you spending billions that should have been set up, that would have built so many hospitals, and then you are not accounting for it. They should account for it. Everybody should go down to accountability. For every of that penny, it must be accounted for.
This is Bod TV Bod. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.